Hello and welcome once again to my weekly Casing the Catalog video and blog. This is Kate from Kate's Paper Creations. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State. I'm going to be casing the Nature's Harvest bundle today, and I'm going to be casing this card right here. And it's going to be pretty close to the same, so you'll get some ideas of how it was accomplished. But there's a few small changes as well. So this is on page 71 of the Stampin' Up! Fall 2021 mini catalog. So let's get started. This is my version. First change I made was it looked like they were using shaded spruce for the card base and the DSP, and I didn't have the in color or the shaded spruce designer series papers, so I switched over and decided to use Evening Evergreen, and I'm glad I did. I really like this color. Very beautiful, very rich. Okay, so let me explain what all we're going to be using. We're using Nature's Harvest bundle, so we'll be using this stamp, and we'll be stamping and coloring that, and then we'll be using some of the dies, a couple of the dies, the branch and these sprigs here that look kind of like cattails or whatever. So that's what we're going to be using for that. The the For You sentiment comes from Joyful Life. We're going to be using some Gilded Gems just to add a little bit of bling. We're going to be using Soft Suede for our stamp, and we're going to be using Simply Elegant Trim. It comes in gold and silver. We're going to be using the gold for that today. And then we're going to be using Blends pins. I got a whole pile of them here. We're going to be using Light and Dark Pumpkin Pie, Light and Dark Cajun Craze, Light and Dark Mossy Meadow, I believe. Yes, Mossy Meadow, and Light and Dark Soft Suede. Okay, so those, plus the standard glue pins and glue dots and dimensionals and all that stuff, the standard stuff. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using. Let's get started. We're going to use the beautiful Evening Evergreen cardstock for the base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 to make a side fold A2 greeting card. Then we're using the In Color Designer Series papers. They're 6 by 6 papers, and we're cutting this piece. Get my measurement because it's not the standard size that we usually do with the 1/8 inch border. It's a little bit smaller. It's 3 3/4 by 5, and it's going to go right here like this, but we're not going to attach it yet, but that's how it's going to go. Now when you cut this, I cut the 3 3/4 first, and it left me this piece, and that's important. You want to hang on to that because we're going to use it for something later on. Okay, so that's that. There's also going to be basic white, and you'll need 2 pieces of that, 4 by 5 1/4. One for, well, actually just 1 piece of that for for the inside of the card, because the cardstock is too dark to be written on. So we're going to put a piece in here as well. Okay, so that's the basics. We're going to bring this piece and this piece in, and we're going to color them with the Blends pins. And so I need a piece of scrap paper, and I'll just get one that's been well used here and bring it in and get my markers. Now this one is going to be colored, the tops are going to be colored with the dark Cajun Craze. Yes, I tried it with the light. I didn't care for the color. The dark looked much better. In the catalog, I think they might have even used Blackberry Bliss. So it's totally up to you what color you want these little tips to be. But I went with the Cajun Craze. Just fit all those wonderful, rich fall colors. And we're just gonna color those ends. Now I was going to put double-sided adhesive on the backs of these before I cut them out, and I didn't, and I'll tell you why. Because I have discovered that if I put the adhesive backing on them and then color them with these alcohol pens, it has a tendency to make this adhesive not sticky, does something to it. So we're going to just leave them the way they are, and we're going to use glue pen to attach them instead of adhesive sheets. There's just something, you know how this bleeds through to the back of the cardstock when you're coloring it? Well, it bleeds through to that adhesive sheet, and it diminishes the stickability. Is that a word? So there's that. I've colored the stems with the Old Olive Light. So that piece is ready. And then this piece is the stem, and I'm going to color it with Soft Suede Dark. And I kind of lay this on its side and just so it gets around all the edges, because if you don't, sometimes the edges still show up white. I would definitely take your piece and put it against something dark, just to make sure that you got all the white covered before you put it on your card. Because sometimes you miss a little spot, and then you go, oh, how do I get that? Because it's so tiny and it's on the card already. And so anyway, there's the Soft Suede Dark. And see, I did just pick it up and see a white spot at the tip of this one. There we go. Yeah, a little bit more here. Okay, and there's the stem. And I do, then this particular, then we're going to bring in this main piece, and we won't need that. This is stamped with soft suede, and because it's stamped with a water-based ink pad, you can color it with the blends pins and it won't have any effect on them. So I'm going to start with the light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to color my flowers with that. And you get to watch me color today, because I didn't want to just not show you everything. This is going to eventually get cut out with the die cuts that come, the dies that come with it, with the set. And so we're just, don't have to do perfection here. Just want to be sure and color it well. And we are getting just a tiny bit of rain for the first time in like 10 weeks. We're thanking the Lord for that today, to bring some relief to the dryness. And maybe wash the dust off of some of the plants and trees, huh? Okay, there's the light pumpkin pie, and then I'm going to bring in the pin end of the dark pumpkin. And I've been having trouble with this one. It doesn't want to open up. It wants to pull out the whole thing, and I'm not sure why. I'm going to order a replacement. There, I finally got it open. And I'm going to add some accents. You can see how much life that brings when you just add just a few little streaks of accent in there. It doesn't have to be super fancy. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. And now let's bring in Mossy Meadow. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow light and dark for this part. And we'll start with the light and color in the stems. Even the light Mossy Meadow is a dark green. It's not a real pale green. If you want a pale green, you got to go with like Pear Pizzazz or something like that. The trick to keeping this inside the stem lines and stuff is to keep your pen as straight as you can and your touch just as light as you can. but I'm not concerned because once we do the die cut, it's gonna all look just fine. And there we go. So yeah, as I was saying, we got just a little bit of rain. It was really nice. My husband built me a gazebo out back. We've been sitting in a lot in the sunshine, and he said, now you need to go sit out in the rain. He wants me to really appreciate how hard he worked on it. He built it himself. Someday I ought to show you the picture. It's actually quite lovely what he did. It's just absolutely beautiful. And it's got a metal roof on it, and so it won't, most of the ones you buy come with those fabric roofs, which is fine. Kind of has to cut down on the cost of them and the weight, but it has a tendency to deteriorate over time. And so with my metal roof, that won't happen. So I'm really thankful for that. Okay, we're going to head off to the Stampin' Cut emboss machine, and we are going to cut this out now, die cut it out. And so I have to go off screen for a minute rather than haul this thing back and forth. And I'm working on getting it as close to as close as I can to the right orientation here. I'll punch it out and see how I did. I very seldom get perfection. So, you know, don't feel bad. There we go. And yeah, it's a little bit off. And so I come in, and this has got a little bit too much white for me. So I'm just going to trim it off. I'm not taking it all off, just a little bit of it. And I think that's the only thing I really feel like I need to change. The rest looks pretty good. Okay, so there's our 3 pieces all colored. We're going to now attach those to this piece. And I'm going to do that with my handy dandy 2-way glue pen. It's what I like. It works for me. I'm going to bring in a piece of paper to put behind it so I don't get glue on my work surface. Get this up further so you can see it really well. And get my glue on here. This piece is the one that goes on first. There we go. And it's just going to go about like so. It's a little bit longer than your piece. We'll just trim that off when we're all done. Or you can leave it and let it overlap onto the card front when we attach it. We'll see how it goes when we get to that point. There's that piece, and then the branch will be next. And again, just going to trying to get this video done. This is actually, I'm actually recording this video in August. It's August 17th, but it won't be going up online until the 15th, I think, of September. I try to get my videos made up ahead of time as much as I can. That came out really handy when I got really sick in June and couldn't do anything. My videos all still went up because they had been prepared ahead of time. Okay, let's do this one about like so. And then the last piece is this one. And we'll get some adhesive on that. That's going to be good enough. And it kind of goes over the tops of those other two, just like that. There we go. And so then that's going to eventually go here, and you can see how these stems aren't longer than the card itself. So you could leave them or you could cut them off. I'll just leave them for now. Okay, the next thing we have to do is wrap this lovely gold string around. this elegant, Simply Elegant trim around it. And I'm going to just put a couple of spots of adhesive approximately where I want that to go, so I have something to stick the end to. And let's see, I think that's just about right. I kind of sticking to my finger. There we go. I like that. So I'm going to bring it around. We'll stick it there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I'm going to wrap it twice. So we've got a little bit more to it. And then I can cut this and wrap it around the back. And there's our string. Okay, now I'm ready to attach this to the front with Stampin' Seal. It didn't stay stuck. Come on, I need you to stay stuck. I'm thinking that glue dots might actually stick that a little bit better. There's not much there for sticky, but it's going to be okay. We're going to kind of come over the top of them there, add a little bit more. There we go. And here we go. Now this is about a full 1/4 inch, maybe even 3/8 of an inch border all the way around. So then you just got to center it. I'm taking my time here. I'm happy with that. Okay, so there's that part. Then I'm going to make a bow with this, and I just, you know how I make my bows, I just go loop and loop, and then it chases it down through the hole like the bunny, like we tell our kids when we're telling them how to tie their shoes, and then we adjust it accordingly. There we go. And I think that looks like a good size. And so then we'll trim the string just a little bit. I'm going to put these on with glue dot, this on with the glue dot. And then we'll put, actually I think I'll do the sentiment next, and we'll get that on there. Find my little piece for the sentiment. Here it is. And we'll put that bow on in just a minute. So I'm stamping For You with the soft suede ink onto this lovely little tag, and that's in the set. That die for that is in the Harvest, Nature's Harvest set. And so there's that. And then I'm going to attach this to the ribbon, and I'm going to do that by just putting some of this on the back, just if it will cooperate here. Sometimes I lose the sticky port and I have to pull it out. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit there. And it always helps when you get it where you need it, not where you don't. There we go. And I'm just going to stick it on there so part of the ribbon shows, like that. And then I'm going to nip those ends so that they are just slightly longer and have that cute little angle to them. And I need to sharpen my scissors. Okay. Oh, I need a little bit more sticky here to hold my ribbon. Let me get that on there. There we go. There we go. And then, yeah, they're sticky on the back, but that's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to put dimensionals that'll fix that so it won't stick flat. I'll just put 3 of them across there. That'll hold it up well. And then that's going to go on here like this over the top of that string. And then I will attach my bow like so. Do it get it to stick. Maybe I need another glue dot. There we go. And these are a little bit long, so we'll trim those off. And there is today's Casing the Catalog card. Now for the extra, for inside the card, I've just got a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White. I am going to stamp the small flower cluster from the stamp set down here in the corner with that, just like that. And then I'll color that as well with some light pumpkin. I'm just gonna color those in. I think I'll switch to the other end. These flowers are pretty small. There we go. A little more control there. So we'll color those in. This will give just a little bit of brightness to the inside of the card. It's always fun to open the card and see something peeking out at us, right? So we'll do that. Just a touch of color like that. And then we'll get that light mossy meadow. And we'll bring, I don't want that end, I want the pin end. So, and I'll just add a touch of green here. There. Okay, and then that'll go on the inside of the card. Don't go away, I got one more thing to show you. Okay, that's the one I already did, so let's do this one. Line up my 3 sides and lay it down. There we go. So there's the inside of the card. Now, as I told you earlier, when we cut this paper, I cut the 3 3/4 wide part first. Then I cut the length next. So it left me this piece, which is 6 inches, which is just enough to do a cover for the flap of your envelope. So you can make your envelope match your card. And here's how I do that when I'm doing my envelopes. You fold it shut, put your adhesive on the flap itself. So I'm just coming across like that. Then I'll open it up and do the sides. This stuff is sticky. And we'll do this side. And then we'll do the front, or the loose part of the flap here. And there it goes again. Like that. Trying to get it as close to the edge as you can. There we go. Then I let it close and I line up the edge with the edge of the flap like this. There we go. Press it down, and then you just open it up and trim it to fit. There goes that piece. That, and then a little bit too much here, so we'll go ahead and cut that off. And there is the envelope. So then you have this beautiful envelope to go with your beautiful card. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave me a comment. Oh, I forgot my bling. Don't forget the bling. These are the Gilded Gems. I love these. They're so beautiful. I'm going to put some of those on here just to fill in that sentiment thing. There's 3 different sizes. I'm using the smallest and the medium. And we'll put another medium one over here. Just a little bit of bling. It needed that. I almost forgot. Okay, now we're done for the day. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed today's video.